I'm Scott Allen Miller. This is my daily vlog of life here in Nicaragua for the 13th of March 2022. It's Sunday and a nice relaxing day for us, but I wanted to start off this video with this just gorgeous shot of these big ominous clouds over the Iglesia Laborio here in León, Nicaragua, just because it's gorgeous. We have not had clouds like this for months. It actually rained out on the beach as I'm filming this, which is actually tomorrow. We got just a tiny bit of rain on the beach. Nothing as of yet here in León, but it's nice. It's a little bit cooler. We've had a very hot week in general, and today, Sunday, is no exception. It's a hot one. We're all kind of just melting, and today is a relaxing day. The last couple days have been busy. This whole week has been very busy, and I apologize for being kind of behind on the show. It's just been a struggle to get things done because it takes so much time to record and so much time to edit, and I've been unable to do either all week. So this is a tough week. But I really appreciate the incredible amount of activity that's been going on the vlog. People have been asking questions, people have been viewing, we've gotten new subscribers, and a reminder, we don't ask for any donations, we don't ask you to buy anything, but if you could like and subscribe here, that would be fantastic. That's really all we're looking for. Today on Sunday is my day to kind of just chill. I really kind of reserved this day for this purpose. And I think they're selling bread, but I'm not sure. Tortillas are very popular this time of day to sell. And they just go down the street, put a basket on your head, and that's why they're yelling, is so people know that they're coming by. You can pop out your door and be like, hey, I need some tortillas. Or it could be something else, but tortillas are really common. All right, took the day off to relax. It was really, really hot and yeah. So Liesl has been wanting to watch Star Wars, the real one, the one called Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, which of course she has seen before, but it has been quite some time. She enjoyed it when she was young and decided the other day that she would like to see it again, and so today we decided to do that. We got a pizza in the early afternoon from Chop Chop, really good pizza. They never cook it quite enough. Gotta ask them to cook just a little bit longer. And watch the movie with that. I also made a run to get some extra, well, I didn't make a run to get ice cream. I made a run to get cash at the ATM. Had to go to La Colonia. As I was heading up there, I ran into my friend Denise, that you know from a number of episodes. He was actually pretty sober today, so I stopped and talked to him for a minute. He asked for some money. I didn't have anything, but I was going to the ATM, so I'm like, all right, he's sober-ish, he's in a good mood. I'll be right back. So I came back, so I bought some ice cream while I was at La Colonia to break so I'd have small denominations. Came back, gave him a little bit of money, gave him a couple dollars, and he was with some homeless guys, and they saw the bread that I had bought while I was there as well, and they're like, we'd really like the bread. And I'm like, all right, if homeless people ask for bread, you get the bread. So I gave them my bread, but I kept my ice cream. I brought this ice cream back to the house. So we have a couple things there already. We've been trying out different ice creams, trying to figure out what's really good, and I picked up this orange pineapple chocolate stuff, and it was the winner. Both Luciana and I said this was the ice cream that we felt was best of the group. It's the upper end of Dos Pinos. They make a regular line of ice cream, then they have their exclusive line, VIP line, whatever it is, and it is definitely quite a bit more expensive, but it's a lot creamier and has more, rivulets of caramel or whatever in it. It's still not, amazing by American ice cream standards, but it takes you much closer and it's very good. They also do sell a small amount of Ben & Jerry's at La Colonia. So they have Alaska, which I think is from Panama. They have Dos Pinos from Costa Rica. They have Eskimo, which is from here in Nicaragua. And those are the only ones I can think of that they sell most places, but they do have Ben & Jerry's, which of course is from Vermont. So those are the ones we can get here. So it's not terrible, but the things we can get in quantity aren't the best, and the prices are a little bit high. All right, so I did that, got back, we had the pizza, we watched Star Wars. Liesl loved it this time. She's like, yeah, being older and seeing it and like really knowing what's going on, she really appreciated it. So I think she's ready to watch Empire now and keep it going. So I'm hoping that even as early as tomorrow might happen. We own all of those on Amazon Prime, by the way. That's how we're able to watch them down here. We've owned them for forever, and stream's great, right? Things you buy on Amazon Prime Video work perfectly well down here. Netflix works really well down here. Those are our go-tos for most things. So of course you can pirate things, you can stream things in those kinds of ways anywhere. But for legitimate services of things you actually pay for and own and use officially, those work really well, as well as Apple TV, but there isn't that much content on there, but we do have it, and I'm very excited about Foundation and the Mosquito Coast. We watched Star Wars, and then she was in the mood for Ghostbusters, so we did that, and that's when we had the ice cream that she has seen recently. She's always in the mood. She just loves Ghostbusters, so that was fun. And it was mostly just a relaxing like movie evening. I did a little bit of work during the day, but really it was hot and we wanted to just chill and get some family time. And I have some people who want to be on the show, but they think I'm facing the other way. Here we go. How are you? And we called it an early night and we're in bed probably even by 10. I was asleep so early, I actually caused, sometimes I fall asleep without getting into a good position because I'm so tired, and I just passed out and didn't get the best sleep from it because I was so tired. I don't know why I was so tired. The heat, I can only imagine, because it really was warm. So for today's episode though, so Alan had mentioned on my Subtiava video from last weekend that I had mentioned that churches face west, but of course churches face east. Everything says so. Everything except for Wikipedia and things that explain it. But I'm going to give a little lesson in how churches face, especially in colonial cities, because if you're visiting Nicaragua or any colonial location where cities are built around the churches. So in other places, Barcelona is a great example, Rome is a great example, the cities predate the churches by a lot. And so the churches have to orient themselves based on the city that they're in, and quite often they don't get a lot of choices. So St. Peter's does not face in any particular direction, nor does the Sagrada Familia. Those are stuck facing the way that they have to face because of the city that they sit in that already exists. They have to fit into in situ. Here in the cities in Nicaragua, they are a great example. These cities were built around churches, not the other way around. The churches came first and all of the neighborhoods came after them. So they are pristine placement. The entire grid of streets is based on where they fit around the churches. So in this location, the churches define what they want to do. They are the perfect example of the way a church wants to face. So I am facing west out towards the Pacific. And behind me, you will notice that the church is facing with me. We are together facing west. The face of a building is the direction that its entrance looks, the direction that it vomits. The way that people enter and leave is to the west. If you have a house and your main entrance is to the south, you say your house faces south. The face of your house is where the main entrance is, and a church and all buildings are the same. That is what a face is. So clearly the church behind me is facing to the west, just as is the Basilica up the street, the Iglesia Calvario just behind that, or the Iglesia Subtiava that I showed you a week ago. All of them are exactly the same facing west, and all the other churches in this city, and basically all the ones in Granada, all those really old original colonial structures are all the same. They all face west. So why does everything say that churches face east? And I'm sorry, I assume you're going to hear some of this wind. Leon is an extremely windy city, and the time of day when I do this, it gets really windy out here. But we've got the dead cat on. I'm hoping that it's going to be okay. So all these churches face west. There's no question that they face west. You can look at maps anywhere of old churches that are older than their surrounding area, and many that are not, and they always face west. Yet we're always taught that east is what matters. So there's a bunch of semantics here. If you look on Wikipedia, it is really crystal clear that Wikipedia says churches are designed to face west. No question, they simply agree with the facts as you can witness them. And yet, if you do a quick search, why do churches face west, you find pretty much nothing. And if you search why do churches face east, you find tons of articles that explain why they face east. But look at any of those articles and actually read them, and all of them describe why they should face west, not east, and simply ignore the fact that they're saying the wrong direction. There's a reason for this. It's because in a church, the thing that matters when you're looking at a church is not the direction that the building faces. We simply don't care about the facing of a church. What we care about is the congregation within it. So because of that, and because what we're trying to figure out is which way the church points the congregation, we normally refer to the orientation of the church, not its facing. Churches are oriented to the east because in theory, the theory behind church design is that you want the rising sun behind the altar because Christ is supposed to return from the east. Of course, we don't know who's east, so that doesn't make any sense, just fundamentally. But it's based on flat earth, of course. They didn't know the earth was round when they made the claim, and so they think it's everyone's east, so everyone's looking off to the same direction. No one gets them over top. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, when we're dealing with the churches, so they're all designed to point to the east, with the people inside looking to the east, with the point of interest to the east. This may be the windiest day that I've been out here yet, so this is a bit ridiculous just how much wind I'm dealing with. I'm going to attempt to move to a less windy location to continue this talk. I had to find a side street, and even here the wind is pretty bad, but at least I have some amount of buildings blocking the wind. This is the windiest day I've witnessed in Leon yet. And of course, it's the moment that I walk outside to do a video that it picks up. Anyway, when we're talking about churches, they talk about orientation, and everything's oriented to the east. Everything about the church is about the east, the altar being in the east, the congregation facing to the east. So it's easy to see why in a conversation about churches, we're gonna talk about east, because it's what matters. The way that the building faces is irrelevant, it's inconsequential. But people ask, what way does a church face? People answer, what way does the congregation face, or which way is the church oriented? Because we know, for the most part, when people are asking what way does a church face, they don't mean to ask that. They mean to ask what direction matters to the church, and so that's what people tend to answer. And over time, as people simply repeat churches face east over and over, eventually people just keep repeating it. You say it enough and people believe it's true. It doesn't change the fact that the Catholic Church doesn't build churches that way. They build them facing west. It doesn't matter that Wikipedia and all scholarly articles say that they face west. It doesn't matter that every article about them that says they face east describes them facing west. What's amazing, though, is how often, if you walk out and look at a church, and I'm going to turn around because the Laborio is right behind me, there are often entrances on the sides, but the front is always facing west when they have the freedom to do so. And that's important as someone who walks cities and lives in a colonial area. When I'm out exploring, I'm able to orient myself by the churches. But if I believe they face the opposite direction, I would get lost really quickly. But it is completely reliable that I can go anywhere in the region, and if I see a church, it will face west and almost always have the main plaza of either the area or the city to the west of it, so that you have an ability to look at the church, which of course you look east, right? That's why the church faces west, so you look east towards it. It's all about enhancing the east, and the direction that the church faces is the opposite of the direction that it enhances. So east is what's important, but west is the way that it faces. This will help you get around Nicaragua. This will help you understand church history and have a better appreciation for the architecture of this really significant portion of the region. If you're going to spend time in colonial America, you are going to be looking at a lot of churches built quite a long time ago. And this adds a bit of depth to that. I hope to do some shows actually on the churches and go inside and tour around and really show off some of the architecture. But it's important to understand, when you're looking at them, if it's not facing west, it's worth noting, because it's really something special. If they had to work around the environment that they're in, or they're making a statement for some reason, they're looking at something else, or facing away for whatever reason. Oh, and now the wind picked up here. All right, that is our talk for today on the architecture of churches. I did not randomly say that they faced west for no reason. It's actually the way they faced. Look at a map, you will see that that is correct. Of course, if you look at your hometown, especially if you're looking at something in like America, they don't have very much opportunity to build those churches before the town was built, so they have to work with what they have. But look at these old colonial cities, really old European structures, places where the church came first, and you will see that west is the universal direction that they're facing. Thanks, I'll see all of you tomorrow.